So we're here at Ferentino. This is the bridge just outside of town. You can see this huge polygonal wall that probably stretches all the way around the city. It goes as part of this relatively modern bridge. It could actually be a Roman bridge, but you can just see here these are massive polygonal blocks just on the wall here. There's JJ over there, just on the outside of town. This is just like what you find in Peru, and obviously we have them on this side of the bridge as well. And these are really quite impressive. Obviously they go around here too, so this is really quite something. So we're just walking along the edge of the wall here, just on the outskirts of Ferentino. You can just see close up this amazing polygonal wall, which has now got a bridge on top of it. This is one of the most impressive ones I think I've seen, and it's the first one we're seeing on this particular trip, and we're going to keep moving all around Ferentino. So we're just round the other side of the polygonal wall here in Ferentino, with the bridge directly above it. And you can just see here, it's still remarkable, both sides of this. We're kind of on private property, mind you, so I can't really spend too long here. But this is just a fine example. Amazing stuff. So this wall here at Ferentino is just amazing. You can just see the size of some of these stones just behind me. This is clearly an earlier construction, especially to this bridge. But it's even earlier than the Etruscans. Now this is a bridge, this is still being used today. You can hear the cars going by. So it's just amazing that this is actually still here, and they've actually incorporated it into the modern structure. This is possibly a Roman bridge that was added, during Roman times. It's generally thought these were built sometimes during the Roman era or even the Etruscan era, but there's good evidence they're at least 3,000 to 5,000 years old. This is the first one we're seeing on this trip, but it gives you a sense of what we're going to be dealing with here. There's hundreds of sites that have these massive polygonal walls that are remarkably similar to what we find in ancient Peru, Bolivia, even Turkey and Egypt and other places around the world. So this is Ferentino, and above this sign are some of the finest, largest polygonal walls in all of Italy. You can see these go all the way along, and they go all the way around the town, much like a latree. Just going to take a little walk along here just to get a sense of the scale of some of these stones. Some of them are kind of been moulded together. And you can just see the size of some of these stones. They're the size of some of these cars that are parked in front of them. And you can see that the size changes over here. They get much smaller, which is probably the Roman construction, because we know in 180 BC they were doing reconstruction work on the massive polygonal walls here. And this is one of the gates into the city. It's been reconstructed quite heavily, but if we actually look down the side here, we'll see, you guessed it, more massive polygonal blocks making up the whole side of this kind of massive citadel. So let's take a look in here. JJ and I are just gonna have a little stroll about, see if we can see anything else of interest. I'm sure there will be. It's just incredible, all these sites in Italy. So much going on. So many cars. So just behind me you can see some examples of different types of stonework. We're in Ferentino. This is in the Lazio region of Italy, and here again we have a polygonal walled city, and this is one of the walls here. And the interesting thing about this wall is that at the bottom we have the Cyclopean or polygonal blocks, then just above that we have the Roman, and then above that the medieval. So we can see there's different types and different levels of construction here at this particular site. And even on top of that, and even further along, we have houses and apartments built on top of that again. So we see these multiple levels, multiple time frames, much like we see in Cuzco in Peru, where you get the kind of megalithic blocks, you get the Inca, and then you get the Christian, and so on and so forth. And so to see that here is really quite interesting, because even in 180 BC, it's known that certain Roman emperors created this kind of law to build and reconstruct and fix, basically restore this particular site, Ferentino. And so we know they were repairing earlier megalithic stonework, and this is recorded in the ancient histories. So we have to take that seriously, because that suggests the Romans, you know, saw this as a much earlier culture, which is potentially what they called the Saturnians or the Pelasgians, who were here even before the Etruscans. So just down on the bottom level here, you see the kind of quite large polygonal blocks that are quite badly damaged now. And then above that we have the Roman level. Now these are the ones that would have been repaired around 180 BC. And then above that again we have the medieval construction, which is much later, obviously. So we can see multiple different levels here just at one site in the town of Ferentino. And we'll go just inside this doorway here, which would have been one of the main doorways into the site, and you can see these huge blocks just down the side here. Now these are sort of semi-polygonal, but they're made of limestone, so you can see the kind of tufa type limestone there. So it's been damaged over time, and you can see, sorry about my shadow, and you can see it on that side as well if you actually look inside this entranceway. And we're going to continue, just go along here. We can see some extremely large blocks just on the lower levels. No doubt this continues all the way around the town, which we're going to go and have a look around.